In this tutorial, I'll go over a couple of things. I'll introduce the random function, the srandom function. I'll briefly cover the time function, and I'll go over the modulus operator. So basically, the random function can add unpredictability to your programs and can be useful when making games. So to introduce a random function, I'll use a real simple program that I'll name random. Now I'll assume you're already familiar with Emacs and how it works. Notice here I have to use the standard library header file for the random function to work. So I'll declare an integer variable named hat. And I'll set that variable equal to random. And then I'll use the printf function to tell it to print that random number to the screen. So now I'll save it, and I'll compile it. So when I run it, you'll see that it prints a random number. Now you'll notice that your result's probably the same as mine, so this isn't really a random number. So that's where the srandom function comes in. The S in srandom stands for seed. So when you seed the randomizer, you get different results each time the program is run. So I'll modify the program a little bit to include the srandom function. I'll set another integer variable named seed. And I'll also add a scanf function to fill the seed variable with a value. And then I'll feed that value into the srandom function. For demonstration purposes, I only want to print 10 numbers to the screen, so I'm also going to add a for loop. So then I'll save it, and I'll compile it and run it again. You should be able to enter any value here and press enter, and you'll get a list of 10 random numbers. If you run the program again and you put in a different seed number, you should see 10 different random numbers. Again, you might notice that if you run it and use the same seed number, you'll get the same results every time the program is run. To make this program really work like I want it to, I'll modify it again, and this time I'll use the time function. Because a program can start at any given time, chances are that the time will never be exactly the same twice, so we'll use the computer's clock. In order to do that, you'll need to use the time header file. By using the time header file, you'll never have to manually seed the randomizer. Just remember that when you use the time function with srandom, seed values must be unsigned. Now I'll go back to my random program one more time. And remember to include that time h header file. I just have to change this line. and include that time function. Now when I recompile and run it, it truly gives out random numbers each time the program is run. And I didn't have to enter a seed value here because, again, you never have to manually seed that randomizer. Now the modulus operator can do something totally different. The percent sign is the modulus, and the modulus is basically a remainder. For example, if you take 17 divided by 5, you get 3 with a remainder of 2. So 17 mod 5 is 2. I've included a couple other examples here. And just remember that if it divides out evenly, there is no remainder, so the modulus value would be 0. So you're asking, what does this have to do with random numbers? So the range of random numbers that you can get can be pretty big. So if you add a modulo function, the result would be more manageable. So I'll give you an example and go back to my program. And if I add the modulus operator here, which again is the percent sign, and add in the value of the range, which I'll set to 10, it will take the value of the random number and display the modulus value of it from 0 to 9. Save it again, compile it, and run it one last time, and it only prints out from 0 to 9, which is much easier to read. So that's the end of this tutorial. Thanks for watching.